Hello everyone, it's me, Vivi, and welcome back to some Rift Apart. Gamesradar has published its latest article on Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, and let's straight up dive into it and see what interesting stuff we got. The very first thing that really stands out and makes you question Insomniac Games' intention, while Marcus Smith, creative director, states that he said too much. Before I say anything, here's his exact quote from Gamesradar. "We don't want to give away too much, but players' jaws will hit the floor when they discover the butler did it. Shoot, I said too much." This statement was made after he talked about the premise of Rift Apart. You know, the whole thing about an arch nemesis, stumbling upon Ratchet Clank, dimensions breaking down and all that. What Butler comes to mind when looking at Ratchet Clank? None other than Lawrence. Funny thing is, many of you guys suspected Lawrence playing some sort of role in Rift Apart. Not the typical just the butler guy, but a role. A certain role. I'm not saying Insomniac Games outright just revealed one of the twists of the game, at least I hope not. This to me feels like a "it's not what you think" kind of scenario. Or, of course, a complete joke by the developer. We might jump to conclusions and say, oh, Lawrence is just so tired of Nefarious and just wants to express it in a way which disrupts the dimensions. That alone is not even the case. After all, the official PlayStation 5 page of Rift Apart, as a reminder for you folks, it's confirmed that this Nefarious we see in the demo is an alternate Nefarious who, one way or another, got his hands on a Dimensionator. Not saying the Dimensionator we know. This new Dimensionator, which also seems to look different, must have originated from his alternate dimension. Remember, this part of the demo, there's a Nefarious citizen mentioning how his greatness broke into another dimension. I'm simply rehashing these things just in case you're new here and just so happened to stumble on this video. I think Insomniac Games just gave us a slight hint at Lawrence simply making an appearance in Rift Apart, because you cannot have Nefarious without a Lawrence. Perhaps it's not the role that we think, you know, him, taking over the universe, him being the main villain. No. Like I said before, I don't think they would spoil us with such information. And really, the way the statement was worded, it could have just been a joke. Now, there is one question, however. Since we're dealing with different dimensions, are we potentially going to see an alternate Lawrence, or our Lawrence? Which butler, aka Lawrence, is going to appear in Rift Apart? Back in August, during the Gamescom demo reveal, Marcus Smith did say that Rift Apart will have lots of nods to the series, and there will be returning characters. Something longtime fans will easily recognize. He had also put emphasis on multiple dimensionality, meaning it's possible that the Lawrence we'll see might be from an alternate dimension, most likely the butler of this alternate Nefarious. Now, not only will there be alternate versions of characters we know, but planets as well. First confirmation of this was via a tweet by Insomniac Games around the time the game first got announced. That basically confirmed Sargasso, which many had already guessed day one of the reveal. We also have Ardolis and Tauren 4 brought up in the article, which seems to confirm that those planets are actually it. It's nothing too extraordinary, it's just both these planets are now confirmed. Moving on, Rift Apart is a game made from scratch. In other words, from the ground up. A game exclusive to the PlayStation 5. The game's power solely relies on the SSD. We're talking about seamless, fast travel between planets with basically no load times. That's the SSD, folks. The article goes over the Dualsense as well. Not too surprising. Haptic feedback and adaptive trigger. Many of us are aware that Rift Apart takes complete advantage of that new hardware. Rift Apart, looking at the big picture, is a game which will showcase the power of the PlayStation 5. We should be aware of that at this point. Haptic involves the controller's feel when firing certain weapons. For example, each weapon will pretty much give you this different sensation while holding the controller. As for the adaptive trigger, each weapon will fire in a certain way or at a certain rate, depending of how far you push the trigger on the controller. Now, game director Mike Daly had this to add after discussing the Dualsense's capabilities. And our signature creativity for exotic and unexpected weapon concepts is in full force. The weapon experience is shaping up to be incredible. I like the sound of that. Unexpected weapon concepts, shaping up to be incredible. Okay, does that mean they'll no longer recycle weapons from past games? Well, maybe to a certain extent. I mean, it's also been confirmed that fan-favorite gadgets from past games will reappear. Do gadgets in this case mean weapons? I mean, are they interchanging the words, or gadgets as in actual gadgets? Actual gadgets wise, we got the grind boots going back to the demo, and the swing shot hooks implying our actual swing shot gadget. All we know right now, apart from this confirmed gadgets returning, the game will have new weapons for sure. We have 4 new weapons so far. The Burst Pistol, the Topiary Sprinkler, Shatter Bomb, and the Enforcer. Smith also laughingly explains how everyone at the team is going crazy with this game. What we've seen so far is simply a hint at the chaos, he calls it. The PlayStation 5 certainly gives them the opportunity to revolutionize the game by a huge margin. Not only in terms of visuals and controller capabilities, but gameplay as well. Here's what Daly explained. Ratchet's core movement is faster and more responsive, with faster and smoother transitions from move to move, making Ratchet feel more agile than ever. Our traversal moveset enables us to create traversal challenges that have you mixed together in a satisfying chain, and lets players be more creative with how they move around the battlefield to outmaneuver enemies. I absolutely do love the sound of that as well. The ability to get creative and challenge ourselves. Not just by deciding which weapon to use in particular, but just traversal-wise. That's very cool, very interesting. The Rift Tether alone already will make us think on how to deal with certain enemies. They believe they barely scratched the surface of the console. Okay, kinda sounds like the beginning. The series is just now entering a new console generation. Smith explained that Rift Apart is a standalone game, meaning that they hope the game caters to new players while also having references to past game for, Ratchet & Clank veterans. He continued by saying, if you've never played a Ratchet & Clank game before, then Rift Apart is an excellent start. I mean, wouldn't the same apply to Crack in Time or the 2016 game? Didn't they basically always say the same thing when it came to a brand new Ratchet & Clank game? Maybe. I mean, methinks they're already hinting at future sequels on the PlayStation 5. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to be the case. It's too early to talk about that, let's be honest, the game hasn't been released yet. To finish off the video, you maybe saw a post I made a short while ago. PlayStation on Twitter tweeted a photo of this year's Fiesta Bowl, and upon closer inspection, we see Ratchet and he looks different. Different, but in a good way. Whether or not this is the latest render or model for Ratchet, it looks really good. Personally, look, I might be wrong, but looking at the date this was shared on, this looks new to me. It's as if they're trying to match a Crack in Time's more older look for Ratchet. Insomniac Games must be aware that many adore Ratchet's A Crack in Time model. I also do love that model. To me personally, the way they tweaked his model, okay. His eyes look bigger. They finally seem to match the size of Lombax Girl's eyes. His eyes always seemed off the first time we saw Ratchet. Too small is what I had thought. Even this screenshot we got after the game was announced, comparing both shots, you can tell that his eyes in the old render look smaller. Looking at the recent one, it looks better defined. The other thing, yes, he looks older, but I've also realized that his suit strap is now closer to his neck area, and to be honest with you, initially that gave off the illusion that his chest looked more buffed up, but that doesn't appear to be the case here. Another different aspect to his design, his eyebrows. They look thicker now. It's not the best shot we have of Ratchet here, of course, the lighting can play tricks on us. And yes, I've noticed they used Clank's 2016 model. Does that mean the model we have of Ratchet here is an old one? I mean, who really knows? But like I just said, to me, it looks updated. So yeah, with that said folks, this is it for the video. As usual, feel free to leave anything in the comments section below. Questions, or anything of such sort really. Leave it all in the comments section below. And as always, I will try my best to keep you guys updated when it comes to Rift Apart. So yeah, as always, thank you for the support, and until next time.